Certain age, that music brings back only one thing, the Captain Jinks and Salty Sam program.
Ahoy, mates. This is Captain Jinks.
And this is First Mate Salty Sam.
Join us now for an hour of fun and adventure aboard the SS Albatross.
The show first aired in the 1950s and 60s, 5 times a week, live. Unfortunately, no tapes or films are available of that version. The 1970s version was on videotape. The captain was Stan Lonergan. First Mate Salty was George Basilian. There were cartoons, dog acts, and magicians, the joke barrel, but mostly there was the Captain and Salty.
What's the phone?
It's time for the joke barrel time.
Oh, one of my favorite spots.
The show worked on several levels, for kids and for college students, for example.
We had fan clubs at several fraternities and sororities at ISU, at Bradley, at Wesleyan.
Joe McGuire worked on the show as Bosun Joe the artist, but as a child, he'd sent a picture in himself.
It's just exciting enough for me for them to show my picture on the air and to have it taped to the set for several months. And I was a hero of my school.
And he's not the only former viewer who ended up on the other side of the camera.
Those guys were part of my life every day. It was Everyday Captain and Salty and the cartoons, and those guys were hilarious. They were hilarious.
Perhaps the attraction was watching the Captain and Salty ad-lib their way through the show.
He could stand sideways and stick out his tongue. He'd look like a zipper, wouldn't he?
But Lonergan, you must understand, was sharper than $700. And George, if we put a script in front of him, he was flawless. When you went to ad-lib, the Stan would throw him curves that he just couldn't handle.
One of the greatest chefs in the world. Right. Just love his chili ice cream. Love it.
Pretty lousy jokes, actually, but only Stan could deliver them in his way as Captain Jinks. The biggest share of those jokes would go right over Salty Sam, or George Basilian as he was really known, go right over his head.
It's not well known, but Stan Lonergan wasn't the first Captain Jinks.
And I think I remember they auditioned 2 or 3 other people along with me and decided maybe I looked more like the fellow who just did it. I don't know.
The show was hugely popular. I mean, I was looking at a ratings book a couple of weeks ago, and if you look at some of the audience numbers, they would rival some of the prime time shows of this era.
Stan liked me, yeah, so they put me on.
Tom Hexamer, who worked with the Captain and Salty, got a taste of what their fame was like. He was pressed into service as the captain during Peoria's Thanksgiving Day parade, after a death in the family prevented Stan Lonergan from being there.
And the people that would yell and shout, "Hey, Captain," and I would wave back, I could understand how he must have felt when he was in those parades, and what notoriety he would get, and the good that he would do for the kids on the afternoons with his good show.
The first few shows, I was really scared. You know, I was bad.
You know what time it is.
Got over that and just said, I got to where I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed planning things, and then later, Salty Sam joined me on the show, and I just got to where I liked it. It caught on and sailed along pretty well.
You think we can do this more often? That was great, Salty. Say, that was great, Salty. You think we could do this more often?